It's Over Opinionated. Opinionated with Josh Scott.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Over Opinionated. God bless you guys. We're hitting the nitty gritty when it comes to this election. We are 2 weeks out, and Donald Trump is up. I personally believe he's got all the momentum, and he's winning. Now some people might say, well, look at the polls. Well, let's look at the polls actually. This is latest from Real Clear Politics. USA Today has Harris up by 1 in the national vote. That's not enough. That's more than likely not enough to put her over to win the election. Remember, the United States does not go off the popular vote. The United States goes off the Electoral College. It was a compromise by the Founding Fathers. You may not like it, but those are the rules. I'm glad that we have a system in place that protects small states. I do wish it was a little better, but I'd like it more than a popular vote because of protecting our smaller states. So Tipton TIPP has Trump up 1. Rasmussen, which is a more right-leaning pollster, has Trump up by 3. So Emers has Harris up by 1 as of October 18th. So we're winning. If we keep her under 2 having a 2% lead, we're going to win. If she stays under a 2% lead, we're more than likely going to win. Anything can happen. I understand that. Anything can happen. Let's go to Pennsylvania and Trump. Trump versus Harris. The top poll result. I can't even pronounce that polling firm. Forgive me. It's TRAFAIGAR. Has Trump up by 3. Atlas has Trump up by 3. UMass has Harris up by 1 at the 17th. Rasmussen has Trump up by 3. And listen, guys, you can go to, we go to 538, who's winning the national presidential poll. And they have Harris by 1.8. Barely. So Trump is right on her heels in the national poll. And she could probably even go over 2% a little bit and still lose. We want to keep her under 2%. And then they set off some very similar polls. They kind of have a similar format. Guys, this election is going to be close. Don't misunderstand me. This election is very close, and a lot can happen in politics in 2 weeks. Me and my grandpa say this to each other all the time. A lot can happen in 2 weeks. But right now, Trump has the momentum. The last few weeks, since I've covered politics, we skipped last week, sadly. I'm sorry. I am trying to do one a week, but sometimes it's just hard. So that's why I say we're a tri-monthly podcast. We get at least 3 out a month, and we do get 3 out a month. We're back. We have to talk about this presidential election. This is the analogy I have, and I think it's an accurate one. I believe if you're a football fan, we're up a field goal. The 2-minute warning just hit. We have the ball. It's 1st and 10, and they have all their timeouts. Up a field goal. Okay? You want to be in that position. You want to be the team with the ball and up a field goal, but you can't get too cocky. You got to go get that first down and run the timeout. Just an analogy. I'm not saying we run the time out of the election. We still got to go get more votes. Republicans have actually been doing better in early voting, in-person early voting, than we have in a long time. Because most of the time, Republicans vote most of the time in person on election day. That's how most Republicans vote. Not all, but most. Democrats vote a little bit differently. A lot of them, do they go to the polls on election day? Yes. But a lot of them vote by mail and in-person early voting. Now, Republicans have learned a mistake from 2020, and they've said, go cast your ballot early. Glenn Youngkin did this in 2021. Go cast your ballot early. And so far, we're seeing good numbers from Republican areas. There's no way to track it 100%, especially in Virginia when you don't have a registration, but you can kind of get the idea. Our numbers looking better in Republican counties versus Democrat counties. And overall, I don't have a statistic. You can go look it up, but we're doing better than what we did in 2020. So that's a big improvement. Kamala Harris is actually doing pretty bad with the Catholic vote. And everyone here knows my problems with the Roman Catholic Church, but I always give a precedent that they are most of them are my brothers in Christ, who I heavily disagree with. This poll is from the Pew Research Center. Among all Catholics, President Trump is winning 52% of the vote to Harris's 47%. White Catholics, Trump is winning 61% of the vote to Harris's 38%. And Hispanic Catholics, Trump is winning 34% to 65%. So Trump's doing fairly good. Like Catholics, they vote more Democrat than Protestants do. So he's winning the Catholic vote. She skipped the Al Smith dinner, which is a Catholic dinner, where both presidential candidates come, put their differences aside, raise some money from charities, and they tell some jokes. And yeah, they roast each other. And Kamala Harris skips it. I mean, she's not willing to sit there in front of Trump as he tells a joke. Even Hillary Clinton did that. Kamala Harris is going on a media tour. She went to Brett Baier on Fox News. We're going to play you a clip of that here in a little bit. She went to a podcast called Call Her Daddy, which is a sexual podcast that deals with relationships and whatnot. Trump's been on podcasts too. And some of those podcasts have been more of a little bit of a frat boy feel, but nothing like this. Kamala Harris went to a sex podcast. I mean, that's what she did. Basically. I think to help get her more young women voters. She's doing well in that demographic, but she needs to hit it harder. Unmarried single women, I would say from the ages of 18 to 35, are going to vote very heavily in Kamala Harris's favor. Just are. Republicans, we don't do good in that demographic. The biggest obvious reason is because abortion. These girls want the right to kill their unborn babies. They don't see it that way. They see it as their right to control their own body. But they're heavily misled. But Kamala's hurting really bad with men. She had to cut one of the worst campaign ads I've ever seen, and we'll play that later too, to try to get more male support. But it's so tone deaf. It's almost like an SNL skit. It's so bad. So this election will have a huge rift between male voters and female voters. Now, yes, there will be female voters that vote for Trump and male voters that vote for Harris. But there's going to be a pretty big divide. And I don't know the statistic, but I was talking to a friend. I bet the statistic is pretty shaking when you look at it, pretty vast, between single women ages 18 to 34 versus single Christian women that go to church regularly, 18 to 34. I bet there's a big difference, because there are single Christian women out there that are good Christian girls and hate abortion. So if you're a woman out here, no matter if you're religious or you're not religious, I'm not picking on you. I'm just telling you the fact of the demographic. And I'm not saying you in particular want the right to kill your baby. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this demographic in particular wants that right more so than any other graphic. And it affects them. They're the ones getting pregnant more. Hopefully they would learn to not do that. And guys too learn not to do that. When it comes to abortion, nobody loves abortion more than irresponsible men that don't want to take up the responsibility of being a father. Instead, he encourages to kill the baby. Democrats just, they don't eat that up. That gives them votes. My body, my choice. They don't care. They don't care about the science, that it is a life from the moment of conception. They don't care about the Bible when it says that we are made in the image of God. And they'll openly tell you that they could care less about the Bible. I understand. I believe in the separation of church and state, but I don't believe in a separation of moralities and government and a separation of God and government completely. I don't want an official church ruling the United States. I also fear for any country that excludes God from making decisions. I just do. But I'm going to play you a clip from Kamala Harris's Brett Baer interview.
70% of people
that is
tell
about turning the
pollsters,
page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last decade,
But
people
you're the
have
lever of
become...
power.
But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of...
She doesn't have an answer. She doesn't have an answer. She tries to say, well, Trump's been running for election for almost 10 years. And Brett Baer said, well, it doesn't matter. Y'all guys were the guys in power for the last 3.5 years. That's what he said. And he's right. Brett Baer's right. That doesn't matter. And this was not a gotcha. Brett Baer, does he lean to the right? Yes, he's on Fox News. But he's not this hardcore right-winger. He was not like he's not like me. I really think he tries to be a somewhat objective journalist. That is kind of his stick. But yeah, he leans to the right. But still, the whole thing is, if Donald Trump did this poorly of an interview on a liberal station, they would rake him over the coals for it. This was a horrible interview. She has no answer. If most Americans think America's going in the wrong path, why does Kamala Harris think that it's not? Why does she think that she deserves the votes of the American people? And her answer is, well, Donald Trump's been running for almost 10 years, and some Republicans support me. That's absurd. That's honestly ridiculously absurd. I'm going to play y'all guys the white guys for... it's not the white guys for Harris, but the guys for Harris ad. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
Man,
I'm a man.
I'm a man,
And I'm man enough. I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat. Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500 and braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women. I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse.
I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually.
Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story. That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful.
That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Let's take a quick break.
Has anybody ever told you you were over opinionated? How about this one? You can talk about everything you like, but don't talk about religion, don't talk about faith, don't talk about politics. My name is Jerome McClain, host of Jerome McClain Show, and I want to introduce you to a show called Over Opinionated with my friend from Southwest Virginia, Josh Scott. Josh has always been told he has been over-opinionated. He always tried to hold back these opinions, but he tried to back them up when he had to say something with facts and logic. Since he's grown up in many ways, he had to change a lot of his views and his opinions, as a lot of people should. He's not a millionaire from Fox News or CNN. He's just a hard-working, blue-collar type of guy. Give Josh Scott a shot at Over Opinionated with Josh Scott. You can find him on patreon.com/overopinionated at 679. You can also check him out on Twitter at NRV_guy79. Over Opinionated with Josh Scott, where he is this soft-spoken guy telling you the truth.
I'm a manly man that man's manly. I'm man enough to change a carburetor. I'm so manly that I can get emotional with my wife. I'm a manly man that man's manly. Grr. How did they think this was a good ad? Oh, gosh. And you know, my favorite part is I'm man enough not to be afraid of women. That's what conservatives do. We go, oh man, oh no, women. They're so scary. No, they're controlling their bodies. We don't want them to control their bodies. No, don't do that. Don't control your bodies. No, don't go to college. Don't go get a job. Oh no, it's a woman. It's a woman at the cashier register. Oh gosh, what am I gonna do? And the scariest thing is a woman with a cat with no babies. It just scares me. Oh no, it's a cat woman. It's a woman with a cat with no babies. Oh Lord. Come on, guys. And then that old guy, I'm man enough to, if a woman wants the right to control her own body, I say go for it. Why can a woman, with the exception of murdering a human being inside of them, what can a woman not legally do with her body that men can? Can a woman not get back surgery? Can a woman not get carpal tunnel surgery? The only thing I've ever heard people say is some people don't want you to tie your tubes if you haven't had children yet. Well, the same thing goes for a vasectomy. A lot of places will try to talk you out of getting a vasectomy if you haven't had children yet, because they know the reversal process isn't always 100%, and it's just better not to, and better to wait until you're ready to have a family. That's the only thing I've ever heard of, okay? Other than that, women have just as much right to control their body than men. all we ask is you not kill your baby. Now, is it the way God designed our bodies? I know y'all hate God. I know that we're talking to Democrats here, and there are some Democrats that believe in God. But let's be real. This is the party of killing your baby here. So for the few Democrats that don't hate God out there, well, maybe not the few, but for some of the Democrats that don't hate God out there, you're excluded. But I know that a lot of Democrats hate God in general. So the way He designed our bodies was women were to carry children, and men weren't. Men were to be with women and have babies with women, but not hold the children in their womb. That's not what He designed us to do. If you get mad, you gotta take that one up with God, or nature, or whatever rock plant you worship. But the real answer is God. That's just how things are. You might not like it, but that's how things are. And just because you conceive a child, especially if you did it with consent, the idea to murder that baby because it's inconvenient for you. You might not be able to finish your degree, so you're going to murder your baby. You might have to do this, so you're going to murder your baby. That's evil. That's evil. That's a human being. It's not even just a human being. It's your offspring. It's your child, the one that you're murdering, and their blood is on your hands. Now, there's forgiveness in the blood of Jesus. There are people right now that are good Christians that murdered their baby through abortion, man and woman. But that's just true. It's true. There's forgiveness for the sin of abortion in Christ. But that's a stupid campaign ad. And the reason they're releasing is because it thinks it will get more male voters. Good luck. Good luck. I don't see that helping you much. I don't. I'm not saying there's only one right way to be a man. I don't believe that. I believe the biggest thing, if you're going to be a man, that you have to worship God and love, provide, and protect your family the best way you can. That's what I believe. I believe that's what a real man is. But yeah, absurdity. Absurdity. I want to show y'all guys some clips of Donald Trump at the Catholic dinner that I thought were pretty hysterical.
She's much worse than him. He was a much better candidate than her, actually. And when we hopefully win, dispose of her, I like her a lot, but right now I can't stand her. Can't stand her. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep him away. That's a nasty one. That's nasty. I told these idiots that gave me this stuff, that's too tough.
Alright, guys, just a little context to that joke. Kamala Harris's husband, Doug, cheated on his first wife, got a nanny pregnant. I'm pretty sure, about 90%, about 100% sure, he also paid to kill the baby by abortion. So let's let the president keep cooking.
Oh, I did. They told me the last time I did this, I was running against Crooked Hillary. Hillary. No, I was running against Crooked Hillary, and I did it, and I thought it was a roast. See, I was told it's a roast, and I had the meanest guy you've ever seen write stuff up, and man, was the room angry. Even the Cardinal remembers. I went overboard, don't you agree, Cardinal? It was like terrible. And I knew I was in trouble around midway through because, people are not, even my own side was angry at me. They were saying, it's too much. But I did it anyway. I didn't give it. I'd like to thank our MC this evening, Jim Gaffigan. Most recently, Jim has been playing Tim Walsh on Saturday Night Live. And that'll be a very short gig, I hope, Jim. But it was fun while it lasted, wasn't it? Let's see how that lasts. It better be quick. we don't want him, and, I'm not going to say anymore. But unfortunately, Governor Walz isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say he was. I used to think that Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods, but then I met Tim Walz. The stupid show, The View, is so bad now that the other day I was watching it and thinking to myself, you know what? They really need to bring Rosie O'Donnell back. That show is bad. Those people are bad. I know every one of them, and they are bad news, I want to tell you.
Trump did pretty good in that. He also told a joke earlier that don't feel bad, Chuck Schumer, if your party loses, that your party is so woke you can still become the first woman president. That was probably my favorite one. But he did really good. Also over the weekend, we had Kamala doing something. I don't know how you could do something so bad. So there were kids that, they were younger gentlemen that went to a college. During a Kamala Harris rally, these two kids yelled, "Jesus is Lord, Jesus is King." Now, it's hard to hear in the clip. So at first I was hesitant to believe if she knew what they said, but I think it's pretty obvious because there's other clips about it. And not only that, but she was talking about abortion. And I think she just assumed that these young gentlemen hated abortion. So they start saying Jesus is Lord and Jesus is King. And they're right. He is Lord, he is King. And then she retorted, you're at the wrong rally. You need to be at the smaller rally. Implying President Trump had smaller rallies. And she does this because she knows it gets under his skin. And I wish Trump would stop letting this stupid, how big are your rally sizes, get under his skin. Everyone knows Trump has pretty big rally sizes. But anyway, I'll play the clip.
Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
Jesus is Lord. Y'all guys are at the wrong rally. That's not going to help. I think that's going to make her look bad. And all of this stuff is coming together. Her horrible media presence. And Donald Trump, if you look at him, he's just got charisma right now. He's doing well. And one more thing from the weekend that surprised me, but it was brilliant politically on Donald Trump's part. So everyone knows Donald Trump is a big fast food fan. I think most Americans like fast food because we're overweight and fat, including myself, right? But Donald Trump loves fast food. And I think that either him or someone around him said, Mr. President, this would be a good idea. He goes to a McDonald's in Pennsylvania where he's been campaigning a lot. He actually went to the Pittsburgh Steelers game last night on Sunday Night Football, and it was fun to watch them. I'm a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. They are passing out terrible towels, which is it's a big yellow towel that Steelers fans wave. If you're a Steelers fan, you know what it is. And it said Trump Vance 2024 on it. He is passing them out. You can hear the vast majority of the crowd. There's a clip. They start turning around and chanting USA, USA with Donald Trump in a press box. So, not a press box, but they have it in these bigger stadiums and college and NFL. They have, I guess they are press boxes, but they have them glassed off or inside, but they can still see the game. And then you have the normal football fans watching the game outside. But yeah, so he's in Pennsylvania. He goes to McDonald's, and for a little bit, he works at McDonald's. He works the French fries. He talks to people at the drive-thru. Now, there have been a few Democrats that said, well, this wasn't real. He wasn't really working an 8-hour shift at McDonald's and all this. And they planned this event out, and they closed the store. Well, duh. Yeah, duh. Just not long ago in the same state, someone tried to murder him. So yeah, they were safe about it. They were safe about how they did this. So yeah, they closed people from coming into the store, and I don't know how they did the drive-thru. I don't know if it was just big Trump people. Everyone, it seems like, talks was Trump people. But you have to make sure that they're being safe. But this was good. This was a good political optics. Donald Trump, and the communists can hate when I say this. The Democrats can hate when I say this. I don't care. Donald Trump really is the president of the working class. Oh, but he's rich, and he has this house, and he has this and this. I understand that. But he represents the working class more than anyone has in a very long time in the White House. And he is honestly the president of the common man. He probably is the best president for everyday people that care about everyday people, probably going back to Teddy Roosevelt. Maybe that's a little too far. But he is, I mean, he's like, you know what? Let's go to where they work, the everyday common man. Let's go to where they work at McDonald's, serve people French fries. Let's try to renegotiate trade agreements so it doesn't hurt factory workers as much, and it helps our nation with a better economy, with better things coming in. That's what he did with the USMCA, with the United States, Mexico, Canada trade agreement. He made it better for us when it comes to trade with those two countries. And you go out and you talk to the working class people. Why? They'll tell you, why do you like Trump? They will tell you, I love that he talks like a normal person. And he does, for the most part. Now, he might have some things here or there. He's not a polished politician. That's never been his goal. That's never been his job, really, is to be this polished politician. It's to be the everyday man type of politician. So he speaks for the everyday man. And the Democrats, guys, this is on you. I know you hate Democrat. I know you hate Donald Trump. I know that a lot of you are Marxists. Not all of you, but a lot of you are. And you hate anyone that is well off financially that's bust their butt. And listen, I'm very populist, and I'm very critical of some things that happen in the upper class. But y'all just hate them. Absolutely hate rich people. You absolutely hate anyone that has worked hard to get ahead and bettered themselves because of your Marxist ideology. I think it goes totally against God's word. I think it goes totally against reality. But that's why you hate Trump, and that's why you hate people like Trump and Elon Musk. I know that. But you have to look at yourself and say, why is it that the Democrat Party, the party that used to be called the party for the little man, the party for the working class, where the working class voters would go out in droves and vote for Democrats, and you had them foot, line, and sinker. You had the unions. You had this. Now the Democrats still have the union, still have union leadership under their control, but they don't have the union workers completely under their control. That's more of a mixed bag. And actually, the Teamsters Union voted to support Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. Now, they didn't offer an endorsement, but that's what their official members wanted, was for their union to endorse Donald Trump. So how did you go from being this party of the working class, the little man, union votes, and helping out people, to totally losing it, totally losing the working class, and the working class going from you guys to the party that was historically the party of big business, that was historically the party that didn't care as much for the working class and cared more about the businesses. Okay, now I think that's starting to change in the Republican Party, and I think that's a good thing. But tell me, how did that happen? How did it happen where y'all went from being the party of the working class to being the party of the rich? And the Democrats are the party of the rich. They have way more. They have way more fundraising money than we do. They have so many companies and CEOs that are helping them. They're the party of the rich. Now, there are rich Republicans. We have wealthy donors too, but nothing like they do. They're outspending us like crazy. And the fact that they're outspending us like crazy, and they have the legacy media on their side, the legacy left-wing media on their side, that a lot of times pretends to be neutral when they're not. That's what I hate about news organizations, when they try to pretend like they're neutral and they're not. They have an obvious bias. With this show, you know exactly what you're getting. That's part of the reason why I named it Over Opinionated. This is an opinionated show. You can't complain and say, Josh, you're biased. Josh, Josh, you're biased. Or Josh, you lean this way, that way. I'm openly a conservative Christian. That's what Over Opinionated is a conservative Christian podcast, okay? Now, I have disagreements with people on my side. I have disagreements with Republicans have disagreements with conservatives for sure. But overall, that's what I am. So that's one reason why it's named Over Opinionated. Not only that, but just growing up, I've had the sense, well, Josh, you just have too many opinions and you express them too frequently. Well, yeah, but I'm not being mean to you anyway. Maybe I could do a little bit better of expressing myself when I was in school or whatnot, but I'm not being a hateful jerk. And why is it that you don't like when I share my opinions, but you like it when liberal Larry over here shares all of his opinions? So I don't know if it's the opinions yet I had, the amount of opinions I had, but how deeply and how meaningful those opinions are. My very first day in history class, my 11th grade year, my junior year, I had a history teacher that said, back in the day, the South used to have racist laws to keep people of color from voting, like poll taxes, like this and that. That's 100% true, and it was wrong, and it should have never happened. He's right about that. And he said, well, now today they can't do that, so they have to change it up a little bit. So now they have these things called voter ID laws, and and I think the first state that passed it was North Carolina, and it was a huge controversy. The controversy was a lot of African Americans did not have driver's license, therefore, Democrats said it was racist and preventing them from voting. Well, I knew right then that you could go to the DMV, because I've seen that where you could do this. You could go to the DMV without a driver's license and say, hey, can you make me a Virginia identification card? And they'll do it. And also, it's just, I understand that there are troubles with not having a vehicle. But to me, I almost think it's racist to say black people don't have the ability to get a voter ID or a voter identification. I'm even okay with, like, the government, if you want to have it where you get registered to vote and the government sends you a free voter ID with your registration and a picture. Now they do send you your registration, but they don't send the picture. Now the law's a little bit differently. Now you don't need a photo ID in Virginia. You just need an identification. You can vote with your Social Security card in Virginia. You just need some form of identification. But that's the law. But regardless, that's why that this show's named Over Opinionated. You know what you're getting. But getting back to my main point, Kamala Harris has the legacy media. She has the rich donors. She has people. She's basically an incumbent right now, kind of, because she's the vice president of the United States, the sitting vice president of the United States. This is the Biden-Harris administration. Now, you can say maybe she's not the incumbent because Donald Trump is kind of like an incumbent and it washes. But she is the woman in power, basically. Her and Joe Biden is sharing a ton of power. I don't think anyone believes that Joe Biden is mentally capable enough of making the majority of the decisions. I don't believe that. I'm sure that you don't as well. I hope you don't, at least. But she has all these things, and Trump is still winning. Now, I do want to give us a little bit of a warning. In 2016, Hillary Clinton was up a pretty good margin, and we won. We beat her. And this is also kind of a reason why I think we're going to win. Polls always underestimate Donald Trump. In 2016, they underestimated Donald Trump. In 2020, even though we lost, we made up a lot of ground, and those states were extraordinarily close. So even though the Electoral College, Biden won 300 plus votes, and even though the popular vote was pretty far apart, the vote itself within those states was so close that it was separated between a small margin in these states. And polls did not predict that. Trump did a lot better than polls. It was supposed to be more of a blowout, and Biden barely won. I think right now, if Trump is winning a lot of these polls, or if he's just barely losing the popular vote, then that's really good for us. It's really good for us. I could be totally wrong. Just like in 2016, everyone thought Hillary Clinton was going to win, and they got their hearts broken. I don't want that to happen to us, where we think we're going to win because we have the momentum, and our hearts get broken. I just don't want that to happen, and it is a possibility. So realize that Kamala still has a very decent shot at winning this election. We are in the lead, but it's a small lead. Pray and vote. That's why I've been telling everyone here. You have to pray. You have to pray and vote. Please, guys. Please pray and vote. I'm going to play you a few clips from Donald Trump being a McDonald's worker.
Never touches the human hand.
Very good.
Nice and full.
Thank you.
So this is compliments of me, okay? All right. You go have a good time. Don't eat too much, right? This is fun. I could do this all day. I wouldn't mind this job. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again. Thank you. Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala.
So Kamala claims that she's worked at McDonald's, but she has absolutely zero proof that she ever did. And I do think that's part of it too. But he just goes, he has a good time. He's laughing with the workers. He's giving people French fries. And, oh, but it was fake. They closed the store. Yeah, they didn't let people go in the store because a couple months ago in the same state, I think in the same county, someone tried to murder him. So, yeah, they got to be careful. But he goes where the everyday working man is. He does that job, and it's not a glorious job. This is a billionaire getting behind the counter, serving French fries. I think that's pretty freaking awesome.
At McDonald's, I'm looking for a job.
Mr. Trump, what's your favorite thing to order at McDonald's?
I like it all. I like every ounce of it, everything. But I do like the French fries where I'll be working.
Mr. Trump, why did you feel it was important to come here today?
I love McDonald's. I love jobs. I like to see good jobs. I give them extra sauce. Well, that's a good-looking group. Hello, everybody. This is all on Trump. Oh, look. I'm allowed to do that, right? Yeah. It's going to be the best yet. I made it myself. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again. My first day at...
He likes the job at McDonald's. He's going to come back and do it again. It's just hilarious, man. Let's see.
I'm looking for a job, and I've always wanted to work at McDonald's. I never did. I'm running against somebody that said she did, but it turned out to be a totally phony story. So, President Trump! Well, that's a good-looking group. Hello, everybody. I'm having a lot of fun here, everybody. Little figures of it. Well, I'm looking for a job.
That's pretty great. And the people are loving him. So maybe this is all campaign people. Maybe it's not. I don't know, guys. It doesn't matter. He went to McDonald's. He saw he saw the employees there. He did the job. He's making a statement. He's the everyday working man's politician. And I appreciate that. For all of Trump's faults and failures that I've criticized him for, I appreciate that. Well, guys, I'm going to end on the Bible verse of the day. All right, everyone. The Bible verse of the day from the NIV, Galatians 6, verse 9. Now, this verse is not talking about politics, and I don't want to put politics into this verse, but I do think that we could take the attitude of this verse and try to apply it to this election. But with that being said, that is not what the Apostle Paul was writing about, okay? I'm not trying to put words in the mouth of the Bible. That's very dangerous. So I'm just being upfront about that. But this is verse 9, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And once again, the Apostle Paul was not talking about the 2024 election, but I think that we should take those words into consideration. May we not give up. God bless you guys. I will be back here next week, 1 week before the election. Then hopefully we will get one more election podcast out about the results. Hopefully we are still up by this time next week. And hopefully we win this election. And after that, we will be getting back into some hardcore, serious Bible study. And I just want to say, God bless you all. Vote and pray, and get people out to the polls. This is such an important election. God bless you all. Have a great day.